Hello and welcome to stampingcatcareer.com. Today we're going to make this super cute, super easy little lamppost flagpole Christmas card. It's going to use the Brightly Lit Christmas stamp set. I had a couple of challenges for a wow swap that we do, and I needed to create 2 cards using this, so this is the second one that I created. Also wanted to make them easily reproducible this time. I have some Christmas stamp events coming up and wanted to find something that would be fun for the ladies to do that was not so incredibly time intensive and hard to reproduce. So this was what I came up with for one of them. The only real stamping that we had is the sentiment that's on the light post. I'm going to set this part aside real quick. I want to show you the coordinating framelits that go with this. So the parts that we've used today is the lamppost here that we've done in black. We've used this lantern, we've also done in black. One of these little posts that we've done in black. And then you might not be able to see it, but I did the candlelight coming out of the post with a little bit of crushed curry on a sponge. And I wanted there to be a light inside the post, so I just took the very top of this post and I did a tiny piece in crushed curry, and you'll see we'll attach that before we're done, and that's what gives light inside the post. So I'm going to set that aside carefully. This is the framelit that we use to do the sentiment. It's actually right here. We've cut it out in white. So that's the framelit that we used. I'm going to grab a foam pad to stamp our sentiment, and we'll do the envelope at the same time we have the pad out. We use cherry cobbler, and we're just going to ink that up. We want to center this side to side and a little more towards the bottom because our post is going to be right at the top. Straight down and straight back up for your sentiment. And that's it, quick and easy. Let that dry for a minute. The only thing I did for decoration on my envelope, I ran some bows along the edge. So I'm going to turn this sideways. And I did the bow that was an outline. There is actually a solid one and then an outline, and I wanted it to be a little more subtle. So I'm going to start it on the bottom here, and I'm going to stamp. And this is something that is really just for fun, so it doesn't have to be exact. I'm making them a little higher, a little lower, and just kind of going across and right off the paper. So I'm going to set this one aside, just added a little interest to our envelope. And that's all of the stamping that I did. So like I said, the only other thing that I did was a little bit of sponging. We did use the crushed curry for some light. And then we did some falling snow embossing folder on the back here. So I'm going to grab the piece that has that real fast. So this is the finished one that has the falling snow. So you saw the original one that we did. That one was cut at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. The cherry cobbler layer is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And then this layer is done at 11 by 4 1/4, and it is scored and folded at the 5 1/2 mark. So everything is going to layer just like this. And because there's no ribbon that wraps around, we can go ahead and show that. I actually like to add my adhesive to the back of my cardstock, and that way you don't have to worry about adhesive showing through from behind. So rather than add it to your base, I turn the layering cardstock over and add it to that. One of the things that really helps is to line up all of your edges, and then I always keep a bone folder handy. And it gives that edge some nice crispness, so it lays flat. I'm going to run a little snail adhesive around these 4 edges. And I love that falling snow embossing folder. It's lovely. We have our light post right here. So we know that we're going to put our light post just about here. I always keep a piece of scratch paper aside because I'm going to do some sponging on it. So I'm going to open up our crushed curry. And what I'm doing is I'm eyeballing where I want to do the sponging of where the light is going to be shining around. So I'm going to add a little bit of ink, and then you can see when you first do that, it adds some lines, and that's why I always sponge onto paper first, because once you get started, those really go away. And you can always add ink, you can't take it away. So I really do kind of have an idea of where that light is going to be showing from now. And what I want to do is add kind of this halo around the light post. And then you're going to see that through the other side. We're going to do a little bit of blending, just like that. So that's it, quick, easy. I'm going to take some of our fine tip glue, which is this guy. I'm going to add adhesive, and I love this for some of the really thin projects. And once the glue is going, you don't have to squeeze the bottle at all. It actually comes out really nicely. I'm going to make sure our lamppost is straight. And that's that halo that we were talking about. I'm going to close up the crushed curry. And this is that tiny little piece of crushed curry that we discussed. I'm just going to add literally just a dab onto there. I'm going to pick that up. Let's see if I can pick this up. And then lay it right over the top of the piece that we already had cut. And that's going to look like a candle flame on the inside. One of the things that I did is, I don't know if you can see this, I did bend this a bit. I wanted to add some depth to this, and so I had this part flatter, this part is bent up, and then this part again flat to the paper. And I will show you why I did that. I'm just going to add adhesive at those 2 points right there. And then you can see as I attach that, it's still up. And so when you turn that to the side, you can see that that indeed is up a bit. On this one, I'm going to add some adhesive right to the back. I used a very tiny flagpole on this, so it's not going to take much adhesive. We had our white flagged image, and we are adding it right to the end here. And the same thing, I want to add some flow to this, so I've given it a bit of bend here and here, and then if you take a bone folder, you can flag the ends up like that. And I'm going to take one of our bigger Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to add it here to keep that flowing up. And I'm just going to add a touch of the snail adhesive to the back of that. And that's going to attach right about there. We want to make sure that's down nicely. The final touch that we had was a little tiny silver bow. We're going to attach with a glue dot. Right at the base of the post there, or right underneath the light there. And we'll take a little bit of ribbon snips. We can shorten up this end just a tad And that's it. So this is our envelope and our card. Super quick, super easy to reproduce. Love it. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thanks so much. If you have any questions on measurements or anything, it's Stamping Cat Crew, and happy creating.